Hey, it's Denise. Just catching up with everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all feeling well. As we hopefully are all doing the personally and socially responsible thing of staying home. If you have to go out, practice social distancing. Don't be within 6 feet of anybody. And I'm sure you're hearing it from everybody, but the more of us who do this and do it consistently, the faster this thing is going to stop spreading. The faster life will get back to normal. So with that said, let's think of things that we can do at home to not get bored to death, to not start getting on each other's nerves. Because, being stuck in the house, even with those you love, can start to get tedious, and nerves can start to get, grated on. Right now, my son is not feeling great. Yesterday, he had a little bit of chills, and he's coughing. Today, there doesn't seem to be any sign of fever, but he's still coughing. And I'm like the Lysol queen, spraying everything, but the poor kid can't walk around without me spraying behind him whatever he touched. So I'm doing my best to not spread it from him to me. So he's kind of, like I said before, he's kind of hanging out in his room, which is downstairs. I'm kind of hanging out in my room, which is upstairs. And I decided I'm going to continue with doing a daily gratitude card from the box that I got of 30 Days of Gratitude that came with my Fun Fit Fab. Fab Fit Fun. Don't you hate when you mess it up? Fab Fit Fun, I believe, is right. I've been getting the boxes for a couple months now. I should have it right. Well, I don't think they're monthly. They're seasonally, I think. Anyway, I believe I've gotten 2 of them so far. Very happy with them, by the way. If you haven't seen my unboxing videos, very happy with the sort of variety and quality of some of the products that I've used out of them so far. But this is one that I just thought was kind of fun. I think gratitude's important. I think right now it's easy for us to be just upset at the things, sort of our normal life stuff that we're not able to do. The added financial hardship that this is putting on some of us, whether that's having to spend extra money because of the blatant price gouging on necessary items, buying items that you wouldn't normally buy, so much of, like, most of us, even people who keep a nice clean house, aren't as germ conscious and going through, like, say, the Clorox wipes or the Lysol and stuff like that as fast as we're going through it right now. Making sure, if you're someone who's on long-term medications, the CDC has mentioned that you should make sure, talk with your doctor, that you have like a 3-month supply of your medications, on hand. And of course, over-the-counter medications that you use often. And again, I'm not suggesting people go and clear a shelf and hoard. I think that's half the problem. There's plenty of these products being made and brought to the stores. It's people buying 20 boxes of something that they really only need 2 boxes of and not leaving anything for anybody else. That is the problem. So yeah, buy 1 or 2 boxes of, ibuprofen or Tylenol or whatever it is that you would use if you had a fever or if somebody in your house had a fever. But that doesn't mean you have to clear the whole shelf. Even if this does go through July and August, as some people are starting to predict, you're probably still not going to need more than 1,000 Tylenol. You can get the non-name brand, the store brand ones, like a bottle of 500 of them for around $10, I think. And if you picked up 2 of those, I would say you're probably good for a while. There's no need to buy up the whole store and, like I said, leave nothing for other people. So let's all just use common sense and be courteous to each other. Having said that, other things to do. Gratitude, I'll probably finish up with gratitude, because the other things are just going to take a minute. I was looking at what else I could do. Yesterday I spent some time, like I said, binge watching some of my favorite YouTubers, which I listed, I believe, in the comment section of my video yesterday. I today did some using little bits of this and that to make a really nice tasting breakfast casserole, sort of like a French toast meets bread pudding. I did do just a quick little, I think it's only like a 3-minute video, because I didn't do it as I was making it. I didn't think about it till afterwards, that it might be a good thing to share with people. Like, you know, if you have bread that's obviously not moldy, you're not going to eat moldy bread, but it's starting to get, say, a little dry, a little stale, certainly not, you know, at its best. That's the perfect time to make bread pudding with it, because it will soak up whatever type of sauce you put in with it, you know, whatever mixture. The one I made today was like a breakfast casserole, so it was basically an egg, you know, like a French toast kind of a thing. So it scrambled up some eggs, not scrambled as in cooked, whipped up some eggs, cinnamon, sugar, vanilla, whatever it is you like in your French toast. Poured that over the broken up, I happened to have croissants that were starting to get a little stale, so I used them, put them in. I just used a disposable aluminum baking pan, like an 8x8 that you would make a cake in. And I also threw some little globs, like spoonful by spoonful, of fat-free cream cheese that I wanted to use up. And you just bake it. And I mean, I at like the last 10 minutes or so, when it was almost done, I drizzled a little bit of real maple syrup over the top of it and put it back in for like the last few minutes. And it came out really nice. It was a nice change from just grabbing, you know, I usually have a protein shake for breakfast. So it was a nice change from that. And it was a good way of using up things like, say, like I said, those croissants, they weren't moldy, I think because of the low humidity. They started to get stale, but they fortunately did not get moldy. And so they were perfect for making like a bread pudding type of thing out of. The cream cheese had already been open for a little while, and again, you know, it wasn't getting any younger, so why not use it up rather than let it go bad. So your groceries definitely will go further if you try to do things like that. Now, back to, and cooking from scratch. You're home anyway, right? And if you got kids home with you anyway, if you have little kids, I understand that makes it harder to cook from scratch unless any of them are old enough to help you by watching the little ones while you're cooking. My son is 17, so, you know, the son who lives home with me, my older son is 22, he's with my mother. So in my household right now, it's me, Patrick, it's my son, and Jay, that's my little 14-year-old beagle. So I am not cooking for a large family. And as someone who has had weight loss surgery, I eat about a third of probably a normal portion, if that. So I'm not cooking in bulk. I'm not, because if I cooked a giant pot of something, Patrick would be eating it for days. I would probably get sick of it, which would mean it would end up getting thrown out. You don't want to have that happen. What else? If you are someone, now, I happen to live up in the northern part of New York State. Certainly, well, in the summer, and by summer I mean the second there isn't tons of snow on the ground, we definitely have our bugs. Up here in the mountains, I discovered bugs that I never knew existed. And they don't seem like the cold even kills them easily. Like, you're amazed after the snow starts falling, you're like, oh, at least fly season is over. And then, like, one of them turns up in your kitchen and you're like, how are you still alive? But anyway, luckily we don't have a rodent problem. I've never had a problem with finding stuff in my cabinets having any rodent damage. But for people who are bulk buying things like rice, beans, flour, sugar, just keep in mind if you're bringing it home just in the plastic or paper packaging that it's sold in, if you do live in an area where rodents might be a problem, when all of a sudden there's all these extra foods being stored, maybe you're not even having them in your regular cabinets that are, hopefully well sealed so that it's difficult for rodents to get into them. You might have to be storing stuff out on open shelves. That is a good time to use your glass jars. I'm using some canning jars to store my extra rice and stuff in, simply because it will keep longer. And like I said, I don't have a rodent problem, but why risk it? I don't usually have this much dry goods on hand in terms of things like rice, which I did go out and buy a few extra pounds. Beans, I went out and bought a few extra pounds. Again, not crazy. I'm cooking for 2 people and a small dog. And yes, we still have plenty of dog food, but in the event we were unable to get it, the dog would have to eat what we eat. I don't think he would mind. I know people might be thinking, yes, people food is not ideal for dogs. I'm well aware. Been a lifelong dog owner. My little 14-and-a-half-year-old is very healthy as per his vet last time she saw him a few months ago. So what else? What else can we do? We can enjoy cooking, hopefully. I found something that I had bought over a year ago and put away and totally forgot. And yeah, it's a little on the silly side. And the only reason I bought it is because when I was on vacation on a cruise for Christmas of 2018, we spent on a cruise ship. We were on the Carnival Pride, and they have Michael's, the craft store. Michael's does like little arts and crafts classes for free. I think almost every day on the cruise they have some sort of activity that Michael's does, and it's free. They don't charge extra for it. And I sat in it. I enjoyed one of them. And one day it was doing these fingerprint paintings. And yes, your hands do get stained. So if over the next few videos you notice, like if my hands start turning funny colors on the edge, that means that the ink does not wash off easily. But hopefully that will not be the case. Anyway, I had found that I remembered I bought this like fingerprint doodle art kit. I think I got this at Barnes & Noble when we were in Baltimore, because we took our cruise out of Baltimore, and when we got back we had some time to kill, and I can't pass by a good Barnes & Noble without going in. Essentially, if you're not familiar with fingerprint doodles, it's, as the name implies, using your fingerprint on the various ink pads there. And then, they give you, the pad gives you some, like, sort of templates of, and suggestions to get you started on things that you might want to make. That didn't even sound like English. Might want to make. And then it goes a little more, like up here, gives you some more sort of detailed instructions, like you can see how the body of the animals is made from fingerprints, and around the sun is made from fingerprints, and then just how simply a couple little lines with a pen makes it clear that, oh, it's a cat, or I think that's a deer of some kind. It's got antlers. So this booklet just kind of gives you some other ideas of things that you can do with it. So I was like, okay, hey, I like arts and crafts type stuff, so I would spend some time doing this. So again, if you see me in my next few videos with funny colored fingertips, you'll just know that the ink doesn't come off that easily. What else? What came in the mail today? I ordered from Townsends, which is a YouTube channel that I love. I don't know if you can see it clearly enough there. It says Townsends Live History, or Live History, however you want to, I guess, look at it. They provide a lot of stuff for people who are historical reenactors, and I think for acting as well. Like 18th century is kind of their specialty. But I love their cooking videos. John is very entertaining to watch, and so they have, when they do their live streams once a week, they do them from their set, which is meant to look like an 18th century pub, and it is called the Nutmeg Tavern. So I got myself a Nutmeg Tavern apron. Figure I'm going to be cooking more. Might as well do so in style. So I've got my Nutmeg Tavern apron. You can see their design there. That's kind of, they have a sign with that same design, like, you know, showing like on what would be the door of the pub. So I got that, and then I got the little jar of whole nutmegs. I admit I'm lazy most of the time. I do use ground nutmeg, but I've heard so many people say that it is just so much more flavorful and fragrant if you grind it fresh when you're ready to use it. That, yes, I caved, and I bought this, and it's in this cute little jar. So, figured well worth it. So, got some goodies from Townsends. And I had showed you earlier, the 2 big barrels with the larger bags of Moose Munch. And at the same time, I ordered, they obviously ship differently because they came a day or 2 apart. I got the 12-pack of the different flavors of Moose Munch. So it's like everything, the milk chocolate, dark chocolate, classic, cranberry almond, s'mores, dark chocolate butter pecan, cinnabon, dark chocolate covered, which, like, if you see like the regular chocolate ones, will have like some of the pieces have chocolate on them and some of them don't. Is that even the chocolate one I'm showing you? That's how, yeah, holiday milk chocolate. Whereas the dark chocolate covered, you can see all of it is covered in chocolate. What else? Cinnamon, I showed you that one. S'mores, dark chocolate, salted caramel, cranberry almond, I think I said that already, and milk chocolate, totally covered. So, yeah, there's 12 of these smaller size bags, which, as I've told you, Moose Munch from Harry and David's is like my crack of snacks. So that's something that I'll nibble on during however long that we're stuck in the house. When I was talking about the new journals that I bought the other day, I showed you the 2 journals that I got. But I don't remember if I showed you. I had found this really cool pack of, where was I? I think I was at Walgreens. Pretty sure I was at Walgreens. Also got this nice pack of gel pens, which I just find are easier to write with. And they're like all these nice bright colors. I believe it's a 10-pack. Yes, it is a 10-pack of colored gel pens, which I figure will just kind of make things more fun. So, that's where I'm at today in terms of, yesterday, so I also was listening to an audiobook. Did that for a couple hours, did some headspace meditation. I can't lift, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I have had surgery recently, abdominal surgery and eye surgery, so lifting is a big no-no. Really not supposed to lift anything heavier than like a pound or two. Try resisting the urge to like bag up the kitchen garbage bag, which you can see is starting to mound up because you live with not only a teenager, but a teenager who is not feeling well, who you like are resisting the urge to spray with Lysol every time you are on the same floor with each other. Normally he would do that for me. He would lift up the garbage bag. Right now he feels like crud and he's in bed. So I'm not going to wake him up to lift out the kitchen garbage bag, but I also can't do it. So it is driving me crazy. I know he'll be up soon, and when next time I hear him get up, I will ask him to do it, and I'm sure he'll do it, and he'll put it in a new bag. But until then, it's like, for me, the frustration is I could be using all this downtime to get stuff done, but because for a full 2 months after the surgery, I had, muscles that had separated, abdominal muscles repaired, and my retina had detached. I had 2 emergency eye surgeries. And fortunately, as I've mentioned, I think my vision is back to 20/20 in my left eye, which is what it was before the retinal detachment. So I was very fortunate to have no loss of vision. So, gratitude. Today, I do it every single time. I've opened the box, 3 or 4 times now? And every time I look at it like, how do you get the top off? Or I look at it like it's going to open at an end instead of taking the top off. So today's topic is, today we've got, look at me, silly me. I was like thinking I was going to do this without putting the glasses on. When do I ever really get through a video without at least once having to put the reading glasses on? Difference. Reach out to a person who has made a difference in your life today and tell them why. Okay. Well, hopefully you're not reaching out physically. I think that's a cool thing. I think people are surprised by but enjoy getting snail mail. I know just yesterday I got a card from my cousin Anne-Marie, who knows that, I just went through this real rough spot with my health, and that I have this recovery period ahead of me, which is frustrating. And I got a card, just kind of like, hang in there, you'll get through this kind of card from her. And it really did make my day. And it was funny because I had spoken to her on the phone earlier in the day before I got the mail. So a little later on, when I got the mail, I texted her just to say thank you, that when we had spoken earlier, I hadn't seen the card yet. And it's a nice thing to do. So if you have, I'm not saying go into the store to buy cards, but you can even just write somebody a quick note if you have blank note cards at home, or even just on a piece of paper. Just write a quick note, thinking about you, hope everything's going good, throw in a little gossip if you have it, whatever. And that's a way to stay in touch, and it's something, that the person doesn't expect. Most of us at this point don't really expect personal correspondence via snail mail. So I think it's a nice thing to do. I don't really have other plans beyond that today. I do need to get some meat out of my freezer because my next butcher box is, now keep in mind I was away for 3 weeks. So I didn't touch anything from my last butcher box because I wasn't home. So my next one is going to be billing, and I did delay it by 2 weeks. They were great about that. They let me change it to 6 weeks. And so it'll be billing, they said, I think on the 20th or 21st, and shipping shortly thereafter. I don't think I've used a single thing from the first shipment. So I need to get some stuff out of the freezer today and get it start thawing so that I have room to put the new stuff in, and also that'll be the stuff that I cook this week. and that will challenge me to come up with some new recipes. The Butcher Box website has recipes, like you can kind of go by what product it is that you have on hand, and then look for recipes that go with that product. I also told you that on YouTube I'm a big fan of Food Wishes. Chef John gives great recipes, and he makes it seem doable. Now, I'm not promising that if I cook it, it's going to come out the way it does when a professional chef does it. But at least he does give an idea for some different takes on plain things like that we might all have in the freezer, like ground beef or chicken breast or other things. That you just don't want one more meatloaf, or you're tired of tacos, or whatever your go-to recipe is for that type of item. It's good to look at and just check out, what else can I make with this? What kind of completely different thing from what I usually make can I make with this? Just to keep it interesting while we're not eating out in restaurants, hopefully, and not exposing ourselves to the crowds of, being out there shopping unnecessarily for convenience foods and stuff, when we can just take this time we have at home and do some more home cooking. Anyway, thanks for hanging in there and listening. I appreciate your taking the time to watch, and check out my videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the like button. And I hope you're all feeling well, doing well, and taking care of yourselves and each other. Everybody have a great day, and let's see the good in this. Let's see the good we can make out of it. And it's nobody's ideal situation, but let's make the best of it and keep a positive attitude.